And welcome into Pro Tour. Jeskai, Sahili, much love. Trav here. Hope y'all are doing awesome. This is the deck that 5 of us are playing. Me, Arnaud Bagla, Arnott Baglin for you English speakers, Brandon Semaru, 2 others I can't, Mike, I don't know your guys' last names, Zach, and then 5 of us are on Mardu. I'm going to show you the deck tech and walk you through the 3 matchups if you're playing in PTQs or RPTQs or GPs or something like that. Although we all think this Felidar is going to get banned, so I wouldn't get too invested in this deck as far as money goes, but if you want an edge, I'll show you an edge. The deck's really good. A lot of people think they beat it when they really don't because they play against subpar lists, subpar players. We'll see how the Pro Tour actually is, but it's just a really hard to beat deck, and honestly, I'm not that mad about it. It'd be nice if they didn't do this. It would be nice if the SCG didn't have 2 major events, so there's more innovation. But I find this deck to be really, really fun to play. And I'll show you why. Let's go ahead and take out the deck. But basically, the key to playing the deck and the key to this format is to be brave. Don't be a little bitch. It sounds ridiculous, but that's how you win, is know when you can afford to play around it, know when you can't. That's the key to the mirror match, which I'll show you. Let's show you guys the list. We have a little bit of tech. A lot of it is just good play and plans. So if you don't know, Sahili, 3-mana Planeswalker, you -2 Sahili and you copy Felidar Guardian, which comes in and it blanks Sahili, and then Sahili minus blanks and you go infinite. So it's a combo deck, but it's also a control deck because Sahili +1 ramps to Gearhulk. Gearhulk is a big bad mofo, motherfucker. Comes in and flashes back a Glimmer to draw cards, anticipate to draw cards, removal. By the way, this might not be the exact final list, and I'm sure I will change things after the event, but this is where we are before. Felidar, also a pretty decent one, untaps a land, not the worst blocker, blinks Gearhulk, blinks a Planeswalker to reuse, and blinks Oath of Jace. Oath of Jace is pretty sweet, minor in French, or is this Italian? This looks Italian. Yes. But you draw 3, discard 2 when it comes in, and you scry, and then you blink it. Got French Gideon, though, over here. French Gideon. Talk about our tech. So it's a control deck. A lot of people think they beat it with a shock here or there, a few disruption spells, but you can just plus your Sahili and Felidar your other Planeswalkers, and they eventually just die to that. So having 1 implement of combustion up or something like that isn't really going to help that much. Disruption, we have 2 Immolating Glares signed by my buddy Arno. Is that Desolator Magic signature? Looks like it. We have 4 Harness Lightnings. 2 Shocks is really important. It lets choke. Let's choke, inflict, yeah, whatever. 2 Shocks, important, doing 2 damage to a Planeswalker. It's nice to have something to disrupt the combo. It is nice to have something early for Mardu, which is a bit of the problem matchup. I just beat Mardu before filming this in a proper match and testing. This also lets you keep more hands, because more early disruption, you feel a lot better. One of the keys to our version is we cut down on anticipates. Against all the aggro matchups, you don't really have time to do this. And we might even play 0, 1, or 2. You just don't have time to play 4 anticipates, 4 Glimmer, 2 Oath. They're good in the mirror, helping you hit land drops, but if you just have more interaction, it's not the worst thing. We're also going Planeswalker Heavy, and with Nahiri. Nahiri is the better main deck one that finds you Gearhulk or Felidar to win. Gideon's our sideboard plan. We have 3 after board, which we'll talk about, but this card is lights out in the mirror match, quite good in other areas. 4 man lands, 8 fast lands, 2 port towns, 4 hubs, 6 island, 2 plains. Disallow, one of the best counter spells ever printed for standard. Counters spells, counters man lands, counters Gideon activation, counters Sahili ultimate, counters so much, it's ridiculous. Counters Stitchwing Scab, etc. So let's walk you through the 3 main matchups. Sahili, Mardu, green black, and then my prediction is Sahili. Mardu is the second most played deck. Green black's third. Green black is no one seems to be playing it. Maybe the groups we've talked to are different. There will be a good amount of green-black, but we think it's going to be lower. Those are the three main matchups. We'll talk a little bit about the random stuff that's going to sport up, like Control. I guess Control would be the fourth matchup. So, mirror match. Key to the mirror match is don't be a little bitch, really. Turn 3, Saheeli wins on its own. If you have a Saheeli in play, you're going to win because you're ramping towards ultimate and they can't really tap down, or you can Felidar with negate, double negate up way too easy. So if I'm on the draw, my opponent plays Saheeli, I don't have negate for it, I don't have double shock for it, you have to untap and play your own Saheeli. You have to be brave, risk dying right then in order to prevent dying certainly from Saheeli. Ultimate's not really the answer because they just go to 8 or 9 before doing it, or 10 even. So you have to be brave and say, hey, if I'm dead, I'm dead, but you're not going to kill me in a long game with this. Although if you're on the play and you go Saheeli, and they go negate, untap Saheeli, the same applies. You have to be brave, slam your Nahiri or Gideon, because you will win that game if they don't have the combo. You will lose that game if they have the combo, or if you do nothing and let Saheeli beat you. Immolating Glare destroys attackers, by the way, so that's one major key to the mirror. Obviously, there's some luck that's going to come into play, and that's going to decline a lot after sideboard with more counters, but that's very important play. Obviously, once someone's at 6 mana, they can play Felidar, bounce a land, and have Saheeli up. We all know that, so the combo is very good in the mirror because you can't really tap out. Glimmers are free. You end of turn Glimmer if it's after turn 5. They counter Glimmer, you untap combo. Glimmers are free. You pretty much have to let them resolve most of the time unless you have lots of cheap interaction. Shock helps a lot with that. It's so hard to play around. It can catch a Saheeli or a Nahiri. Two of them can reverse serve a Saheeli on the draw, which is nice. Again, it is also, it lets you do things like end of turn, Glimmer, untap. If they tap down a little bit low, you can play a Gideon or a Nahiri with just 1 mana up and be potentially safe. So those are some keys to the mirror. Oath of Jace is really good in the mirror because it gives your Felidar something to do. Lets you hit your land drops and discard. You're really only 1 dead card. Some people are maining Flames and Fumigate. We're choosing not to do that. Instead, running the Shocks. Shocks good in every matchup, whereas Flames and Fumigate are not. So other keys to the mirror, I would say that's about it. Sideboard plan. We're going to cut these. Maybe trim one of these. Maybe trim one of these. Trim one of these, leaving the combo because it's quite good in the mirror. And these cards are good on their own. And we're going up to 5 Planeswalkers, or 9 Planeswalkers. We're going to bring in more negates. And I like bringing in Queller. It's not good main deck, we tested it. But it gets a lot better post-board when people cut down to just 4 Harnessed and 1 or 2 Shocks. Cards, we're not running Dragon Master Outcast. I still want to test that and maybe run it. That card is extremely scary. If they shock your Outcast, or rather, it's just 1 red and can win the game on its own. I'm not running Dispel. I don't think it's high impact enough, although it's quite good. And that's pretty much it. Like, Gideon is fucking fucked up in the mirror match. If this thing comes down, you just run away with 2/2 Knights and hold up counters and put so much pressure. It pressures their Planeswalkers. Again, a Dragon Master can beat any number of Planeswalkers, but it's not really good in other matchups, and it can just get shocked or harnessed, which might otherwise not have a target, so it's just okay. I like having more versatile cards. So let's move on to Mardu. Mardu, I believe, is going to be more popular than Green-Black because it has a better Jeskai matchup, because we just have way too much Dirtle in Game 1, and they have some ways to break up the combo. So Game 1's not very good. It gets a lot better after board. Again, I just beat a proper match over here. You cut almost all your blue cards, disallow, Oath, Anticipate, Glimmer, trim a Gearhulk, maybe a Saheeli, but leaving the combo otherwise, because it's a way to win. And this is good on its own. This is also pretty decent at just gaining life and letting you hit a land. Radiant Flames is the best card. You have to play around Metallic Rebuke a little bit, counter spells, but sweeps. Oath is nice. Blink Oath is nice. Linvala is a lot better than Gearhulk here. Gains 5 of life, makes a 3/3 Angel most of the time. And it turns out Quellers and Gideons are quite good. They generally cut some removal for rebukes, and Queller can help you stabilize or get ahead on the play. And Gideon is very nice. If they don't have a Thalia or their own Gideon already in play, Gideon make a 2/2. Most of their stuff are 3/2s. People who don't play Inventor's Apprentice anymore, they play Bowmat generally, or they just don't play a 1-drop there. So you just make the Knights, and they have to start attacking Gideon. That gives you more time to set up your late game. So that's the key to Mardu. In order to win game 1, they have to either have Mulligan and have mana problems, or you have Shock and a Harnessed plus Glare, and can survive that way. But even that can be hard because by the time you Gear Hulk, they might unlicensed it, and you just have so little time to Glimmer. So that's the Mardu. Green-Black. I don't believe Green-Black is actually good against this, even with Scrap Heap Scrounger, which I recommend because, Ballista does break up the combo, but just the Gear Hulks are a problem. It's really hard to actually cast Verdurous Gear Hulk until it's very late, at which point it can be countered easily. Glare is quite nice against them, and the Planeswalkers are pretty nice against them. And they're holding these, have to hold up grasps. Really they should be brave. They should not be a little bitch and just tap out, because what are the odds we have it? They need to advance their game plan, but they can't, and they don't. And if they do, we have it. So it's pretty tough for them. It gets better after board. 2 Fumigates is a way to seriously reverse things. Blinking the Oath is nice. I don't really like Radiant Flames because it's usually going to 1-for-1. Certain builds you want it if they're playing a bunch of weird creatures, but if they are playing Harvesters and vehicles and stuff like that, don't want it. Linvala is maybe okay against them. I prefer Hulk though. And Queller is not very good because they leave in the removal. So you don't have to change too much, but just access to sweepers is a big game. Again, they think they have a good matchup, but in reality you can just pick off most of their creatures, and they're either leaving 2 mana up or risking dying to the combo. So that's the green-black matchup. Versus control, you just have so many Planeswalkers and Quellers, and if they ever tap out, they die to the combo. So you can tap out fearlessly during your turn, and they can't tap out in the same, or else you untap and combo them. So control is really easy. I wanted to play control, and it's what led me to this, is I thought control would have a good matchup with it, but it doesn't, because you just can never tap out to advance your own board, and they can. They just Planeswalker with counter, negate, counter, untap. I can't really advance my board. Maybe I play a Dynavolt Tower, but the trigger can get disallowed, or Saheeli's just ulting. I untap, play another Planeswalker and plus it. I untap Nahiri, maybe fragmentize it. And then the Quellers aren't coming in so much in the major matchups, but they're a hedge for the random shit. Colossus, Aetherflux Storm, just weird shit. You want to have more counter spells, and Spellcore is a nice one because they're not going to have that much removal. It lets you win quickly. And it's decent in the mirror. It's good versus Mardu. It's just something early. So that's pretty much the deck. Again, we'll probably change a few cards. Maybe we get things totally wrong. And it should be a lot of fun. Hopefully I do well. I feel very confident. I've been lucky so far. I've had a lucky year. Maybe that luck runs out. I'll play to the best of my abilities. I don't know how well I'll top deck, right? So hopefully that goes well. You could look for me in the standings. Look for Arnott, Baglin. Look for who went 8-2 with their Jeskai control last time. Look for Brandon Semaru. And again, I don't know Mike and Zach's last names. And then the other 5 are on Mardu. So it should be very interesting tournament. Again, this is good tech if you want to win a tournament coming up, but depending on what happens, Felidar will get banned. It's just too oppressive, too ridiculous. A lot of people don't like how the Magic has to be played, but I really actually enjoy how it's played. It sucks when you just get killed out of nowhere, but it's fun Magic, I think. So that's the deck, and that's what we did. So much love. And thanks everyone for all the support. Win or lose, I'm in good spirits. Traveling Europe right now, and I planned it. I saw some people like, there was one comment, and I know a few people like this. Hey, if you don't care, you lose. It sounds like you're kind of bored with what you're doing. Well, Pro Magic was never the plan as far as tournaments, and that's more just an emotional hedge. It's very important that I have a good prep. I'm prepared in the a case that I O5, right? I need to be emotionally prepared for that. And the best way to do it is to have a plan for if I do poorly. Well, I will still continue everything that I'm doing and it'll be great. And I'll just shoot the gun again the next time. But I feel very good and we'll see how it goes. The goal is to put one of us or two of us in the top 8. Goal for me is to 11 and 5 or better. And it'll be a lot of fun. So thank you all and see you in the comments.